Hello and welcome to this video for the latest recruitment scheme from NIJAC, Victims Payments Board Ordinary Member. My name is April Matchett and I am the Communications and Diversity Manager at NIJAC. I'm delighted to be joined today by Mr. Justice McAlinden, a High Court Judge and President of the Victims Payments Board, and my colleague Adeline Frew, Director of Appointments and Communications at NIJAC. A very warm welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Together we'll be sharing more information about the VPB Ordinary Member Scheme. Mr. Justice McAlinden will be speaking about the rule and Adeline will be sharing something about the selection process. Now, maybe some of you are watching this video and don't know a lot about NIJAC. Adeline, would you mind starting us off by giving us an overview of NIJAC and what they do?
Certainly. NIJAC was established in June 2005 to bring about a new system for appointing members of the judiciary in Northern Ireland. This was an end to the tap on the shoulder and to ensure selections for judicial appointment are independently made and based purely on merit. Currently, there are over 900 judicial offices across Northern Ireland's courts and tribunals, and folk may be surprised to find that actually around 1/3 of those are legal appointments for solicitors and barristers. The vast majority are other professions, such as doctors and, of course, lay people serving in tribunals.
Thank you, Adeline. Now, as mentioned, this recruitment is for an ordinary or lay member of the Victims Payments Board. Mr. Justice McAlinden, could you tell us a little bit more about the Victims Payments Board?
Well, thank you. Now, I'll begin by providing some background on the legislation that governs the working of the board. The legislation that governs the constitution and working of the Victims Payments Board is the Victims Payments Regulations 2020, which came into force on the 31st of May 2020. Under the regulations, an independent Victims Payments Board was established to oversee the scheme. The Department of Justice has been designated to exercise the administrative functions of the board on the board's behalf. The purpose of the board is to determine applications under the scheme known as the Troubles Permanent Disablement Payment Scheme. The scheme opened for applications on the 31st of August 2021, and already we have received over 1,300 applications. The scheme's purpose is to provide those living with permanent disablement caused by injury through no fault of their own in a troubles-related incident with payments primarily in acknowledgement of the acute harm that they have suffered. The scheme will also provide a measure of recognition of the implications of living with disablement caused by a serious troubles-related injury and the associated impact of such disabilities on carers, who are often family members, and recognition that in many cases coping with the disablement caused by the serious injury had an adverse financial impact on the individuals and their families. The purpose of the board is to determine whether an applicant is entitled to a payment under the scheme, and the key principles of the scheme require the board to be able to prioritise and be responsive to the needs of victims of troubles-related incidents, to at all times remain transparent and to communicate effectively with the public and victims of troubles-related incidents, to ensure that the scheme is straightforward and simple to navigate for victims and survivors and those groups that support them throughout the process, to deal with and assist applications through a determination without delay, and at all times to manage personal information in a sensitive and secure manner. So those, in essence, are the principal functions of the board. Those are the principles upon which the board will operate.
That's great. Thank you for that answer. That's very helpful. Could we move on to now discussing what an ordinary member of the board is?
Well, the Victims Payments Board has a function, and that is that they have to deal with applications for payments from those who have been permanently injured as a result of a Troubles-related incident. An ordinary member is a holder of a protected judicial office who will sit as part of a decision-making panel along with legally and medically qualified board members. Collectively, this panel will be responsible for considering the applications to the Troubles Permanent Disablement Payment Scheme to determine if applicants are eligible for an award. The ordinary member will also be a member of the Victims Payments Board, and with the other members of the board and myself as president of the board, they will work to engage in the work of the board, which will include issues of corporate governance, policy development, risk management, and taking day-to-day decisions that impact upon the operational functions of the board.
Okay, and can you describe what some of the key responsibilities of the role are?
Well, a key part of the role is to work as part of the board, sitting as a panel member to assess and make determinations on applications made to the scheme. Ordinary members will work together with the legal and medically qualified members to determine if the applications meet the eligibility criteria, which include such things as the degree of disablement and whether convictions for past offences are such as to rule out a successful application. And in other cases, it will be for ordinary members to sit on review panels or indeed appeal panels. Some of the key responsibilities as a panel member will include preparing for assessments and case management hearings, liaising with the board secretariat, reading and assimilating papers and evidence, and working together with board colleagues to arrive at an evidence-based determination in line with the Victims Payments Regulations. I think it's also important to highlight that at all times, the members will have the responsibility to take forward the key principles of the board, as I highlighted earlier. And it's important to remember that the key fundamental underlying principles upon which the board will operate are as follows, and that is to acknowledge the acute harm that victims and survivors have suffered as a result of the Troubles, to recognise the implications of living with a severe disablement as a result of the Troubles and the impact of that on carers and close family members, to recognise that in many cases coping with a permanent disablement or injury has an adverse financial impact on individuals and their families, and to promote reconciliation. And the other key role for an ordinary member is, as a board member, will be issues of corporate governance, and responsibilities under that heading will include working effectively and impartially in reaching consensus and a commitment to collective responsibility, attending and participating in regular board meetings, applying the principles of good governance, accountability and value for money in the administration of public funds, supporting and assisting myself as the president and fellow board members in providing strategic direction and with the development of policy for the Victims Payments Board, representing the board as required at events and seminars, and keeping abreast of changes in the relevant legislation which might impact on the work of the board. You will, however, understand that these are only a few examples of the responsibilities, and as a board member and as the board members will have to engage in all activities of the board, and as the board further embeds and develops additional areas of work and responsibilities to engage in those areas of work and responsibilities as fully fledged members of the Victims Payments Board. So it's an important role. It's a role that has significant societal importance in Northern Ireland, and I would certainly encourage members of the public with a keen interest in ensuring issues of reconciliation to come forward and apply for the position of ordinary members of the Victims Payments Board.
Thank you very much, Mr. McAlinden. Now, Adeline, there are maybe some people watching this who think this is something that they would like to do. What's the next step for them?
It's our intention to advertise on Friday, the 10th of December, and applications will close on Monday, the 10th of January. So hopefully plenty of time for people to research the role, because this is new, it's only newly available. So time to research the role and complete an application. On NIJAC's website, there will be links to the job description, terms and conditions, and lots of other useful information. To be eligible, applicants need to demonstrate an understanding of the needs of victims and survivors of the Troubles, have knowledge or experience of the impact of any acquired physical disability and or impact on mental health, be able to work collaboratively and contribute to collective decisions, and have the ability to consider large amounts of information.
Okay, and can you move on to tell us a little bit more about the selection process? What does that look like?
Certainly. We're putting the finishing touches to a self-assessment questionnaire, which potential applicants should find useful. The idea behind it is to provide information on what the role involves and what it takes to serve in this particular judicial office. It should help people make an informed decision as to whether or not this demanding and sensitive role is right for them. The assessment process, depending on the numbers that apply, bearing in mind that we are to make 15 appointments, may involve a shortlisting test or may involve being shortlisted on the basis of the application form. The final assessment will involve an exercise related to the work of the Victims Payment Board and an interview. Due to COVID, however, it's likely that these interviews will be online rather than in person.
Okay, and how long will that process take? When do you expect the successful applicants to be appointed?
Okay, the interviews are scheduled across February and March. It takes a little time for pre-appointments checks to be complete, so the anticipated appointment date is the 3rd of May next year.
Okay, that's good to know. Let me thank you both for your time and for the helpful information that you've shared. And let me finish by reminding you that the scheme opens to applications on Friday the 10th of December and closes on Monday the 10th of January at 12 noon. It's intended to make 15 appointments and to maintain a reserve list for 12 months from the anticipated date of the first appointment. For further information and to apply, please visit the NIJAC website, www.nijac.gov.uk, and we'll include all the relevant links in the video description. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We encourage all with the requisite abilities, qualities and skills to apply, and we wish you all the best with your application. Thank you.